Hey everyone, it's time for your Monday recap. In my message yesterday, I focused on the spiritual discipline of simplicity. And my overall point was that simplicity is not necessarily just getting rid of all of your stuff. Ultimately, simplicity is seeking first the kingdom of God, putting God before all the earthly treasures that we have in our lives. And that's one reason, by the way, that the current philosophy, and I guess I would say maybe fashion idea of minimalism is not a biblical idea. Because in minimalism, it's all about getting rid of the stuff in this life that may keep you from pursuing your goals and your dreams, things that you want to do in this earth. In a way, it's sort of just a fancy materialism, or at least I guess I would say, a clear-headed materialism. But when we're talking about spiritual, biblical simplicity, we're talking about getting rid or removing the things in our lives that distract us or keep us from seeking first the kingdom of God. We're talking about removing obstacles in our lives that keep us from pursuing Jesus. So, how is it that you can work in your own life on this discipline of simplicity? First, I would encourage you, if you're looking for some extra material to study this information, I highly recommend Richard Foster's books. He has one book that is completely focused on simplicity, and he has another one called The Celebration of Disciplines, which in one chapter discusses this discipline of simplicity. But one way that you can also, or another way rather, you can also sort of focus on this spiritual discipline of simplicity is to take an introspective inventory of your life. Look at your schedule, look at your stuff, look at your things. See if there is anything in your life, from things that are on your schedule to things that maybe you have purchased or bought or you want to purchase and buy, to any other sort of idolatrous thing that may be in your life that is keeping you from first and primarily seeking the kingdom of God. What is interesting about the discipline of simplicity is finding freedom from the tyranny of things, is to find peace in knowing that the only way that anything can ever ultimately take away that which is important is when you personally put something in front of you and God. That God is always there. God is always reaching out to you. God is always seeking you and seeking that relationship with you, to go deeper in that relationship with Him. In other words, my point is that the earthly things we know are passing away. And in this life, we know that we will lose many of our earthly things just because cars go bad, computers go bad, etc. But one thing that we can't lose is Jesus Christ. We can't lose the love of God. We can't lose the fact that God is always here. So in many ways, if we're seeking first the kingdom of God, we can't lose our first priority. If we're seeking earthly things, all of this causes stress and anxiety because we may actually lose some of that stuff. So take an inventory of your life. And the last thing I want to mention here is sometimes these spiritual disciplines and those that practice these spiritual disciplines are accused of being legalistic. But I just think that that is simplistic of a mindset, if you will. I don't think that that's fully thinking through what we're discussing here. It's not legalistic because when we're talking about practicing spiritual disciplines, we are not saying that you must practice these disciplines in order to be saved. We're not saying that you must practice these disciplines in order for God to love you. That's not the point of these spiritual disciplines. These spiritual disciplines are tools, vehicles, gifts given to us by God. They are a means of grace given to us by God so that we can use them to grow closer to Him. Not that we can be saved. These are disciplines for the saved, tools for those that already are in a relationship with Jesus Christ, to enhance and strengthen that relationship, not to start it in the first place. Okay, that's your Monday recap. I hope everyone has a good week this week, and we will see you again on Sunday.